North Dakota governor and former 2024 presidential candidate himself, Doug Burgum. Governor, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be with you, Maria.
Well, it's interesting to look at that race in Pennsylvania. That's Bob Casey versus Dave McCormick for the Senate seat. And Bob Casey's running an ad saying that he agrees with Trump.
Well, it's smart politics on his part because Trump's momentum is taking him to the front. And in an energy state like Pennsylvania, where they produce 20% of the nation's natural gas, being on with Kamala on this thing where she's opposed to U.S. energy dominance, it's the wrong place to be for the voters, and it's one of the reasons why President Trump's going to win Pennsylvania is because of the energy issue.
Yeah. How would you assess the race right now, Governor? Where do you think we are? We've got lots of different polls showing this tight race. You're on the inside. How do you see it?
Well, the polls are very promising. The momentum is clearly in President Trump's camp. I've had an opportunity to be on the ground in the last month across Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and other swing states. And, the crowds are large. Doesn't matter whether you're on a college campus or whether you're doing a town hall. The enthusiasm is high. But polls don't win elections. Votes do. And we need to take that voter enthusiasm, that support, translate that into everybody getting out. If people haven't gotten out and voted, they need to. And if they've early voted, they need to go talk to their friends and get them to vote to help them understand how President Trump's policies lift up everybody. It's whether it's affordability, whether it's the open border, whether it's prosperity at home or peace abroad. President Trump's policies lift up everyone, and this is the reason why Harris's tired approach on identity politics isn't working, is because all of these groups understand that they were better off under President Trump.
Do you agree with Senator Fetterman, actually, a Democrat senator, who says, look, it's all about Pennsylvania. Where Pennsylvania goes, that is the winner of this election. It's a critical swing state. What's your thinking in terms of these must-win states for Trump?
Well, I think when you take a look at these, whether, Arizona, Trump's going to win because of the border. Michigan, he's going to win because of auto workers. Pennsylvania, he's going to win because of an energy policy that makes sense, makes America affordable. The Biden-Harris energy policies are so harmful to American workers, and they're so helpful to our adversaries. I mean, we've got Russia and Iran, funding two wars because of Harris's energy policies, and the whole point when she says, "Oh, you can drive the car you want." No, maybe you can drive the car you want, but you're not going to be able to buy the car you want, because she still is supporting the EV mandates, which eliminate gas-powered cars. I mean, she's got her California approach to America, which she knows she doesn't work. And then the biggest issue, which no one is talking about, is we don't have enough electricity in this country, and we're going to need to build more electricity. It's not an energy transition, it's energy addition. We're way short of it. And all of these tech stocks you've been talking about on your shows so smartly, they need electricity to drive their AI valuations. We've got to build more. And there's nothing in the Harris plan that talks about expanding baseload electricity in this country. And we're in an AI arms race with China. So yeah, the energy policy looms large across all these swing states.
Yeah, that's very important. We've been talking about data centers a lot here and the need for it. For that very reason, I'm really happy you're focused on it. Has President Trump told you he'd like you to be his energy secretary?
What we're focused on right now, we got 2 weeks to go, Maria, myself, and everybody else that cares about this country. We've got to focus on getting President Trump to win. There are dozens of people that would make great energy secretaries. I've given him some names of what those people would be, but the key here is making sure that President Trump wins. And I've also had a chance to be in both Korea and Israel in the last month. And I'll tell you, whether it's here at home or it's abroad with our allies, everybody knows that for prosperity in the United States, our economy drives the world economy, and peace abroad, we need President Trump back in office.
Well, I mean, part of the issues is that his opponent, Kamala Harris, is not being clear on where she stands on things. She keeps flip-flopping on her policy stances. We're 2 weeks to the day until the election, and a campaign aide of Kamala spoke to Politico about her climate change agenda, but she only left readers with more questions. She said she's pushing the aide to try and clarify Harris's fracking stance again. She writes this on X: "I did not explain myself clearly here. Contrary to Trump's claims, the VP has not banned fracking, does not support banning fracking, and is in fact." She cast the breaking tie vote on the biggest pro-climate law ever, which, yes, opened new fracking leases. People know that's her position. But the energy industry is having none of it. The U.S. Oil and Gas Association posted this on X. So Harris's new position in October is she opposes fracking, no longer supports her position in July when she changed her position to support fracking, which was subsequently a change to her prior position, which was to oppose fracking. Got it. So here's Harris on the campaign trail in 2019 and then back in August, where she tried to walk it all back, her push to ban fracking. Watch.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
And Governor, I've been making the point that it's not just about fracking. I mean, there's a ton of ways that any administration can put the kibosh on oil production, and it's largely through regulation. Is that what she's planning? How do you see it? Will she ban it or not?
Well, this is what they've been doing under the Harris administration. I say the Harris because, she cast more tie-breaking votes than any other vice president in history, including, some votes on disastrous legislation, which is driving this climate extremism regulation and also the inflation that we're seeing. But, yeah, she's got no credibility. You can talk to somebody that's working on a drilling rig in Pennsylvania or North Dakota or Texas, or you can, talk to a CEO. No one believes her. When she says she won't ban fracking, doesn't mean that she's for pro-energy policies in the United States. And that's as terrifying to American workers as it is to all of our allies around the world who rely on American energy.
Unbelievable. All right, we will leave it there. Governor, it's great to have you. Please come back soon. Love having you on. Thank you, sir.